Hiya, my name's Pete. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to What Remains. And in this episode we are at Harrogate and we're at the Brunswick Tunnel, which has been long closed. It's only in use for about 14 years. And it's really quite a spectacular entranceway, which I'll turn around and show you in a minute. I'm not here alone. I'm with a couple of other explorers. I'll introduce you to those in 1 second. But it was quite a treat getting in here. And if you want to know how we got down there, you're going to have to stay to the end and I'll show you the way into this place, because it's mad. You'd have just walked past it, you'd never know. So I'm going to turn the camera around and I'm going to let my fellow explorers introduce themselves. I'll show you the entrance to the tunnel and then we'll get inside.
Hi, I'm John. My channel's Wet Dog FBK.
That's Wet Dog Channel FBK.
I'm Ashton from Exploring the Past and the Present. Hello guys.
Exploring the Past and the Present. Links down below. Be sure to subscribe to their channels. Never go to these places alone. I always go with somebody else, but look at this. This is really quite spectacular. You've got all the ivy just draping down this entrance, a stone arch there. And we've got our keystone, which is not spectacular at all. It's just there in the middle, nothing different about it. And then we can see we've got these bricked up entrances with the vent holes. That's been smashed through by the looks of it at some point. And we've got a grid over there. And it's same at this side here. Looks like there was a doorway there and a grid over there. And that is our way in. So the next time I'll be on the other side of that door. I'm in Brunswick Tunnel. Bit of a squeeze through there. I said to the guys that I'm with, I'm probably going to have to take my clothes off and get buttered up to get out. It was that of a tight fit. It feels nice to me. I'll turn the camera around. I'll show you what I'm looking at. That was the way in, as I showed you from the other side. This is your bricked up wall. And we have to thank one of our Yorkshiremen for this railway tunnel, George Hudson. Another one is Endeavours for the York and North Midland Railway. That's been smashed in there, looking caged over again. But I'll turn the camera around so you can see up the tunnel. Absolutely pitch dark. These are dark, forbidding places really. I don't know what's inside this tunnel, but I do know what's at the end, and I can't wait to show you, and I hope you're as excited as what I am to go and see that. I'll have to put my little torch on so I can see what's going on a bit more. Now this is the York and North Midlands Railways from Church Fenton to Harrogate, and this tunnel was the way to Brunswick Harrogate station, which was the original station in Harrogate before it was moved, and the line was redirected, rerouted. This was opened in 1848 and it was only open for around 14 years. Now it was meant to have been a cut-in, but there is a road that this goes directly underneath. Quickly topside. This is the road that the tunnel goes under. This was going to be a cut-in, and I'll show you its route. It is quite literally just behind that hedge there, the entrance that we're going to be going in, or that we went in, because now I'm going back in time. Forgot about that. So yeah, that was our way in, and this is the road that was going to be a cut-in, but these are incredibly affluent houses, especially when these railways were being built in the late 1840s. So they weren't allowed to do this as a cut-in. It had to be made as a tunnel, because these people didn't want a mucky steam engine going up that cut-in past their house. Let's join me below the surface back in the tunnel. As you can see, it was quite affluent up there, and the people didn't want mucky steam trains in a cut-in going past their properties. So therefore a tunnel was constructed, courtesy of Mr. George Hudson and his North Midland, York and North Midland Railways. Now there's a load of rubble piled up here. I'm not really certain what this is for. It's quite a long distance, this pile. Maybe there was a start of an infill. I don't know. Perhaps it's storage for the railway that is still nearby, that is still active. because the route was redirected. Now, I've been wanting to come to this tunnel for quite a long time to show you what's down here. It combines a few favourite things of mine in history: abandoned railways, tunnels, and World War II. As we walk down here, you can see it's a bit wet and boggy. I've got my wellies on, so I'm well protected. And I can see already this was double tracks, and we can see the bumps in the ground. Now I'm just going to change to a different torch. I'm going to try to. It's in one of my pockets. There I go along. I'll just put this one on. I'm going to shine it down the tunnel because it's starting to get a bit misty down there. But if we look at the floor, you might be able to work out the ridges of where the sleepers once stood and the giant hardcore that was used for ballast. And it looks like we've got some coke and coals down there set up on the ceiling. We've got some stalactites coming down, and I really do wish that you could feel and see what I can see now with this cold air, the mist coming in, and it's almost like a wall that I'm just starting to penetrate now as I go up this railway tunnel. It's an absolutely fantastic opportunity to come here, and I'm so pleased. And the guys that I'm with now are great for doing this kind of thing with too. Look at this, my word. I really hope the camera picks up that mist at the top half of the tunnel. It's just sitting there. Amazing. So I'm going to walk up this tunnel, and when I see anything interesting, I'll be filming it to you. There are no refuges in this tunnel as we go up, I do know that, and there is no ventilation shafts. It is quite simply a short tunnel. At 415 yards long. Now, a little bit back there, the mist was separated, whereas now it just fills the tunnel, not just sitting on the top half, but also in the bottom half, and it's absolutely beautiful. I'm loving it. And I'm so excited to see what's down there. So let's continue on. I'll switch the camera off for a little while. Okay, so I'm probably approaching halfway to the tunnel now. The air's definitely gotten a bit misty. You can probably see it with the glare of the torch on the camera there. I'll turn the camera around, I'll show you what I'm looking at. You can see how far away I've come from the entrance. There's not really a great deal to see up here. It's just a nice tunnel, well worn. I'll just turn the camera around. As you can see, well worn. We've got the red brick at the top and perpendicular walls at the side. There is no shaft driven into this tunnel, so it would have been tunnelled out from either end. So there should be a meeting point somewhere amongst these bricks. We'll be able to see what the skills were like at eyeing it through. So I'll just keep looking around, and we can see the state of the ballast that they were using. I mean, even here we've got, looks like coke amongst that. We've still got black soot up on the ceilings there. And we can easily see where the sleepers once lay. I'll pop you down there a little bit more. You can see the land. Not very even. I'll go into a bit closer to the wall so you can see the kind of brick that we've got. It's really a really nice tunnel. I'd like to put a big shout out to Wet Dog FBK and Exploring the Past and the Present, who are on this explore with me today. So check out their channels, covering all kinds of history, mainly railway, but other things come up as well. We just enjoy going out and doing stuff, to be quite honest with you. Alright, so I'm going to get up to the end, and if I see anything interesting, I'll pop the camera back on. And no sooner did I turn the camera off, look at this, we've got a distinct change in the brickwork. Now that might not look very different to you, but I'm going to point out what I can see. You can see this course of bricks here, it doesn't match, and that's been cut in, that's been cut in, all that's been cut through, piece missing there, probably washed out. It looks like that piece there, and it just doesn't match, the courses don't match, and they've sort of equalled out the top course there with a narrower brick. Now that's a clue as to what point I've come to after just what I was saying, and all we need to do is go over to the other side and we've got exactly the same thing again. They've actually managed to get the bottom course in line, second course is not, third course not, fourth not, fifth not, sixth not, and they've just angled it slightly here. You can see that where they've got the courses of bricks back in line again. So I'm not 100% certain, but I suspect, because I'm between the ends I think here, that is where they would have joined, building the wall, coming together, and that's just how they've matched it up. Let's continue down and see what else we can find. Okay, as we continue walking up the tunnel, I'm hoping we can come across something really special, what I know is in here, but you'll just have to wait for that. So beyond the tunnel, in the direction we're going, it became a single track and was laid in a discrete cutting, which we've already talked about. The exact date of the final closure is actually unknown, but on the 1893 Ordnance Survey map, it shows track in the southern approach, which is where we've just come from. As you can see, look at these stones, and then stalactites are everywhere. I don't know if you can pick these up on the camera, I'm hoping you do. It's a really nice tunnel, I'm really enjoying it inside this one. The north end, which is where we're going, is completely infilled, so we'll have a look at that when we get there. And there is a special World War II feature at the end. Now I can see something coming up, I don't know what it is, I don't know if it's going to be something exciting, gosh I hope so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera off, oops, so I don't concentrate and fall over like that, and I'll show you what it is when I get there. So I found out what we could see. I'll turn the camera around. It's not much, but I'll just show you it. There you go, Marks and Spencer's trolley. I thought it was going to be something exciting, but it's a rather disappointment. But look at the corrosion on that. Incredible. Now, what we have coming up here is what I really wanted to show you. And as we go down a little bit, you can look at the ground. You can see where the sleepers were. Can you see that in the shadows? Absolutely brilliant. Let's move along nice and steady. Don't want any mishaps. Now this would have been really, really important, this tunnel, during the Second World War. Now during the Second World War it was used as an air raid shelter, and that's what we've got coming up here now. And this is inside the northern portal. It was the only large public air raid shelter in Harrogate, and as we can see we've got that there. So we'll go inside. Now this is rather exciting for me. We've got a concrete plinth up there, and I've had a look around at the bricks, and these are made by Whittakers of Leeds, the majority of them are. But I think we have a really special brick what I've looked around and tried to find for you. Now this is the air raid shelter, or what's left of it. We can see these walls here were for a toilet block. There wouldn't have been flushing toilets, but rather just probably buckets or some kind of sluice with a door on. And if we look up there, we can see where the waterproofing would have been for the shelter with all these lats, perhaps some kind of bitumen sheeting. I don't know if bitumen sheeting was around during World War II, but I know bitumen was. Now these parts, what you can see here, are where the seating area would have been, and it's the same, identical at this side. Now these lats would have had the waterproof sheeting on that go down the back of there, that will have prevented water from going on people while they're under here. So it goes right over and right over the other side. You can hear some water flowing because we've got a leak. Now I think that is a dirty sewerage leak because it does smell in here. I'm going to put a load of photographs up at the end of this. And then if we go to the other side here, we've got the toilet block. Again, two at this side. And we've got a concrete lintel in there. And another two at this side, and seating all the way down there. It's really quite expansive down there. Now this was the way into the shelter through the northern portal. And as we can see, the construction remains the same throughout. Stone vertical walls and an arched brick ceiling. Now there are some stalactites up there that look rather spectacular from the top. This infill here, I suspect, was done at the same time as this stairway was built. Because we can see the end of the portal, and above here is a roundabout on the modern roads. So I'll take you up the steps, and we've got the iron still in situ on the sides there. Look at that decay, just looking absolutely wonderful. And then we can see that is beginning to expand with the moisture and just crack, and eventually it'll all be lost. We've got San Miguel. Rubbish gets everywhere from humans. Please don't litter, we are disgusting creatures as it is. Now this takes us all the way up to the ceiling. Now up there we can see the edge of the portal, which we can get to at this side, but what I want to do is just show you back that way. And then up at the ceiling, we've got all those stalactites. Look at them. They are just something else. And I've taken some photographs at the end, to put up at the end. Now, what I've found amongst these bricks here is some war bricks. Now, some people may know this one's a Whittaker brick from Leeds. Most of them are, but very occasionally you'll come across a brick that has a big V on it for victory, or Allied. Absolutely fantastic brick that. There's nothing written on the other side. It is absolutely special. Unfortunately there is a lot of decay on that, and we'll be leaving this here. This was the way into the air raid shelter, and this is actually the northern portal, just there. You can see a little bit damp. And then round here would have been our way through. And then at the end there will have been some stairs. It is very difficult for me to get up here, but I'll do it for you because you know I'll go that extra mile. And there we go. That was your way in. Absolutely fantastic. So just before I leave this tunnel, Harrogate was bombed only once on the 12th of September 1940. And the Majestic Hotel was bombed in error when a German plane strayed over the town. However, this was an unexploded bomb in the Majestic, which was a hotel. This shelter itself was abandoned in 1943 and sealed. What a fantastic place this really is. In 1954, the tunnel was surveyed for a possible use for the Ministry of Supplies for engineering works, but it was never used for that purpose. All evidence of the shelter was finally removed in the 1960s during the road alterations above, and directly above me now is a big old roundabout. At the time, the workmen were unaware of its existence and actually dug into the air raid shelter through there, or more than likely there. Right guys, well done for staying to the end of the video. Look at this beautiful residential street and look at that hedge there. That is our way to this tunnel. Thank you for staying to the end. Look at this, watch this, look at this. The stuff you do for YouTube can be absolutely crazy at times. And that's me in there as well. Now we're gonna go around here. We'll just pass these guys. This is where we go, right? And then it's right down here. That's like 60 feet, really steep, and the tunnel entrance is there. Absolutely crazy.